In today's video, everyone, we're going to recreate this scene over here. As you can see, I'm going to switch to the render viewport. As you can see, this is the result that we are going to recreate. This video is going to be an in-depth tutorial where I'm going to model everything, texture everything, and light everything, finally compositing and rendering. By the end of this video, you will learn ton of techniques, ton. Guys, I guarantee that. If you don't see that this video is not worth it, in the end, please unsubscribe. Because yeah, I'm worthless, but I guarantee, 100% I guarantee you will learn ton of techniques that will help you improve your Blender skills. I swear. I've used too many techniques here, but anyways, let's show you. These are the final renders here. This one, I've used the version of Blender 4.1, as you can see. Amazing, really cool. But one thing that is not cool here is the volumetrics in this version of Blender. Volumetrics are kind of bad. Why? Because if we go to this render over here, yep, this one from version 4.2, and as we can see, we have light rays, guys, even though it's noisy a little bit because my PC can't handle that. And also the handling of the lighting in this version is crazy because of the ray tracing, and as we can see here, some lights bouncing, and also here in these light stuff, crazy. The reflections are a bit, not too much, because I like the reflections here. We can see them better, but in this version, no, we can't see too much, okay? Because of the volumetrics covering most of the light, but I like it. I like the render of this version. Also, I like this render. Also, I like the bloom here. The bloom is amazing. Here we have less bloom, but we can fix that with the compositing. And also, you might notice that we made the sky procedurally, that we are going to do. We are going to do it, okay? So grab your snacks. And also, if you want to see this video before anyone else, if you want to see the next videos before anyone else, please join me over on my Patreon, because I'm making some cool content, and also the project files will be there. So yeah, it's a great way to help me and help this channel to grow. So let's go to a blank scene here. And first we need a reference image to start with. So we are going to make elements, okay. Starting with this one, I'm going to start with this light thing, okay? We're going to make this one here, and after that we are going to make the torii gate. Actually, the torii gate here, I made it over a year ago, I guess, okay? But it looks amazing, and yeah, it's highly detailed, okay? I textured that in Substance Painter. You can see the seams because I'm in the inverted view, but here we can see no seams. So yeah, that looks interesting, and we are going to make him. Oh, okay, let's first go here and also have this one. And as we can see, this one looks good. Even though the textures, I'm going to remove all of these textures, we don't need them. We need only the wood texture. This one, I'm not happy with it, but it looks good. Also this one looks pretty good. And finally, we're going to make the path here. It's pretty easy, not complex. And the trees, we already made the trees, ton of trees. You can download them from my Gumroad store. I will leave the links in the description, and also you can get the new trees that I have made. Let me show you. I have made these trees here that looks like anime. You can download them also from my Patreon account. It's not for sale on Gumroad, but it's on my Patreon account in the last video. You can also watch the video if you want to make it yourself. It's an in-depth tutorial, so go watch it. Links, all the links in the description. So let's get started. So the first reference is this one. You can download it also from the description. We are going to model this thing because it's the base. We are going to start from the bottom, going forward to the top, okay? So in the bottom, we are going to analyze that. So we have some cubes going here, cubes going there. That should be it, because I can see only cube here, cube here, cube here, cube here. So let's do that. We're going to start up with a mesh cube, okay? The cube here is too big, 2 meters is too much. I'm going to go with 0.1. 0.1 is in a scale, it's good. And I'm going to scale it on the y-axis, for example, by, let's see the dimensions here. 2 meters? No, 2 meters is too much. I'm going to do 0.5, but this one is gonna be 0.05, for example. Okay, something like this. So in the x and the z, 0.05, and in the y, it's 0.5. Control A and apply the scale. So it's perfect. And what we can do, we can add to it a mirror modifier. So let's do mirror. Okay, find the axis that you want. I'm going to go with the x and go to edit mode and G, X, and just move it until you see it looks good. Something like this. That looks good to me. And I'm going to press Shift D, RZ 90 degrees. Okay, and here I'm going to scale it along the x-axis a little bit, and G, Y, and move it along the y-axis a little bit. Let's go to the top view and see if that looks good to me. This looks like a cubic, or not a cube, a square. Looks like a square. So let's make it a square. Let's go something like this. This one. Okay, something like this. That looks good, actually. That looks pretty good. Okay. These are the dimensions if you want them, so you can see. But first, let's apply the scale and apply the rotation. And let's choose the y-axis instead here. So yeah, also apply the rotation and scale. So here for this one, we have x this value, y this value, z this value. For this one, these are the values. You can copy them. And voila, we have made this one. Now let's go up. By going up, I can see that we have some angle going on here. So we have this one angling towards the front and towards the left a little bit, and we can see that better. So basically, I'm going to select, okay, let's add the 3D cursor right there. Okay, let's do that, and let's press Shift A and add cube. Let's do cube and scale it a little bit down. Let's do point. Okay, let's see the dimensions. Okay, let's do 0.7, 0.07. Okay, that's too big. 0.05. Okay, 0.05 looks good. GZ and move it up. And I'm going to press G and B and select this one here and snap it to here, for example. Okay, that's snapped. Close enough. Okay, now let's go to the front view. Tap to go to edit mode, but first let's apply the scale. And let's go to edit mode, Shift Z to go to the wireframe viewport, and let's select Shift C. Let's select these top vertices with the vertex selection mode is enabled, and we can add mirror first. Let's add mirror modifier. Let's add X and Y, apply rotation, location. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to go up. How many up? Okay, let's see. GZ and move it up. Kind of like so, and GX a little bit, something like so. Yep, something like that, I guess. Yep, that looks good to me. Okay, we can select those and Shift D, move to the Z. Okay, sorry, Shift D, move to the Z, S, Shift Z, and let's do that here. Wait, we can just move them. Okay, let's go here, GX, and move this one like so. This one scale on the x-axis, A6 everything SX, and do something like this. Okay, that looks good actually. It looks pretty good. Okay, now we need to create that thing. Actually, this one looks a bit thick, so let's select these two both. Go to the face select mode, select these faces, top faces actually, and press G, Z, and move them up a little bit. So they're kind of thick a little bit. Okay, now to create this thing inside here, I'm going to select these two both. Shift C, cursor selected. Okay, go to the front view, Shift A and add. Let's add. Okay, let's add a cube. Let's add a cube, because we can see that there is a cube going on and another cube that's going in an angle. So let's do that. And actually, I guess there is some angling going forward. So let's go to this one and select the top face vertices, GY, and move forward a little bit. Okay, because I can see that that's going on. It's going forward. Select everything here, GY, and let's align this. Let's align it, make it thick a little bit. This one also, SY. Okay, that's good. That looks good actually. Okay, pretty good. That looks pretty good. Now let's go to the front view. Select that cube. Make sure it's small enough. Okay, something like this. GZ and move it up. Go to top view by pressing numpad 7, GY, and something like this. Go to front view again. Now let's scale it on the x-axis. Don't worry if it's intersect with this cube. Don't worry, I gotcha. Just press GY and move it forward a little bit, backwards, sorry. Okay, so until it's inside a little bit, maybe more inside. Okay, let's go to the front view again. Shift D and press Z to move it on into the Z axis. Let's do the same thing, GY, and also SX, scale it along the X axis so it's so small a little bit. And go to the front view again, and I'm going to duplicate that and rotate it. So Shift D, R, Y, let's do 90 degrees. Okay, and let's move it here. I'm going to Shift C. Let's move it to this point here, and I'm going to select these top vertices and let's move them to this place here. Let's press G, Y, voila. Okay, that looks good to me actually. I'm going to press L to select linked vertices and select that one, and Shift D, X, SX -1 to invert its scaling, G, X, and just move it. Voila, that's good. Now we have this thing going on. Okay, I know it's not perfect, but it is what it is. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that vertex, that vertex, that vertex, and also that vertex. Shift S, cursor selected. So the cursor is in the middle of these ones. So I can go here into edit mode and also Shift A, plane, and I'm going to rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees so it's flat, and I'm going to scale it down, really down. Let's go to the right view, Shift Z, and I'm going to rotate a little bit. Okay, that looks good, almost good. GY and move it on the y-axis a little bit. And let's go to the front view, S to scale, and scale it down, almost right there. Unselect these SY. Okay, that looks good to me. We can press Ctrl R to add a loop cut, but why it's not adding the loop cut? Okay, let's add a loop cut. Let's add a loop cut here. Now let's select these loop cuts. Okay, you can press Ctrl B to bevel these. You can see me where I'm going, and you can press Alt E, extrude faces along normals, and that's will do the job done for me. Okay, so that's it for this face. I'm going to run a mirror modifier, and let's do Y, and let's see if that works. That works really well. Now we're going to deal with this other side here, but first let's take one of these cubes because it's perfect scaling. So press only L to select linked faces or linked edges or linked vertices, whatever you can call it. Shift D to duplicate, RZ 90 degrees to rotate it 90, and press P, separate by selection. And now remove from it the mirror, we don't need it right now. Press 3 to go to the right view, go to edit mode, select everything, G, Y, and move it along the Y axis. And now press G, GX, and move it here. Actually right there. That looks almost perfect to me. Press So I press SY and move it right there. That looks good. Go to the right view again, Shift D, Z, and move it up almost right here, and press G, X, okay, and move it right there. G, X again, maybe right here, and let's press L here, G, X, and move it along the X-axis. Now select this one, L to select this one, S, X, and scale a little bit on the X-axis. No one will notice. Okay, that's good to me. That looks good. That looks really good. Go to the side view again. L to select this one here. This one in the bottom. Shift D, R, and X 90 degrees. And do the same technique. G and move it. Shift Z, G, Z. That looks good to me actually. And now let's select only the top vertices. G and move it here. Actually, I can't see where is it. Okay. I guess I can see right now. Let's move it right here perfectly, and now press G, X, move it along the X-axis. What is left here is to see if that one looks perfect. Like that looks perfect actually. Press L to select the length stuff, tree to go to side view, Shift D, Y, and press SY -1 to flip it. Okay, we're not going to deal with the scaling. G, Y, that looks perfect. That looks almost perfect. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this one because I can see it's not going all the way through. G, Y, and move it all the way through. Let's move this one also all the way through. Okay. Even though it's clipping inside, but no worries, really. And voila, that looks good. I'm going to do here, I'm going to press L to select length stuff, or I can make it. I can make it. So let's select this vertex, hold shift by the way, so you can select more than one. Okay, shift S and cursor selected. So the cursor right here, still in edit mode, shift A, add plane, and R, Y 90 degrees. You can scale it down, but first let's go to the minus front view. So control numpad 1, so you can go to the other front view, not front view, but the other one, back view. I have no idea if you know what I'm saying, but you know. So right now just rotate that. Okay, that looks almost perfect. GX and move it along the X-axis. Just rotate a little bit so it's not messing. Okay, that looks almost perfect. Now go to the right view, S to scale. Okay, almost good. Unselect these by holding Control and just box select. Now press S and then SY. Let's do Y here. Why are you doing that? SY. Again, looks good. Control R to loop cut. Control R to add another loop cut here. Select these loop cuts. Let me see. Let's press Control B to bevel that. That's almost what I want. Alt E. Extrude faces along normals and just extrude. And voila, that looks good to me. Now what I'm going to do, add to it a mirror modifier. And it is working X-axis. What a better way to save. Okay, let's Control S to save our progress. Okay, actually we're doing good. You don't need to be perfect. I can say that this one is tall enough, this one not tall, but it's boxy. I like this one. I like it. Now what I'm going to do is to create the roofing. The roof here is interesting. I'm going to make this curvy thing, and based on it, I'm going to create the other elements of the roof. Okay, even though the roof here looks good, I might recreate this texture. I might recreate it. So first, let's create the thing. Is it pointy? Is it thing? Okay, so let's go to the front view. Shift A. But first, let's select this one. Shift S. Cursor selected. Go to the front view again. Shift A. Add plane. RX 90 degrees. Scale it down. GZ. Scale it down. And let me see. That looks better. Scaling, I guess. I have no idea. But that looks better. So Control A, apply all the transforms. And Q, set origin to the geometry. So it's in the middle. Or you can just go to the object, set origin. And I have right-clicked on that and set it as my quick favorites menu. And also, I have I have my loop tools in the quick favorites, so yeah. Anyways, now let's press G, X, and move it to the side. It's perfect. Not perfect. G, X, and right now it's perfect. We can add to it a mirror so we can see that better. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select these two vertices. You can see that. Yeah. What I'm going to do, I'm going to press G, press E, scale down a little bit. E, scale down a little bit. E, scale down a little bit. G, X, you can see that right now here. I know it's not perfect, but it's good, looks good. Looks almost perfect to me, you know. Is this one past this one? Yeah, it's past this one. Let's just move it here. It looks good to me. Control A, apply the location. Okay, now there is two ways to make it. Is by beveling these stuff to make it smooth, or you can apply subdivision surface. Which way do you recommend? What I recommend is just make it like this thing and make it quad, and I'm going to extrude that. Press E to extrude it, and Control 1 to add a sub D, and let's add a loop cut. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, what I can do actually, I can select the whole shell of that, all corners, and what I can do is bevel them. So let's do that. Control B, and with two segments, press A and E, I guess. It was E or what? I have no idea. Let's go shape of one. Okay, shape of one. It was I forgot which key that will do that. But anyways, you can see right now it is what it is. So let's shade it smooth. Right click and shade smooth, okay? And it looks bevelly. Let's enable merge where it's clipping, I guess it was. Okay, that looks good. We can see also here the same, so don't worry. Don't worry. Now we can add to it. Let's add another mirror before the sub D. Make sure it's Y. That looks good. Because the origin right now, I guess, it's in the middle of the shape. That's why. Okay, that looks good to me. Now based on that, I'm going to create the roofing, but first let's make this pointy thing. So let's go to the front view, but first let's select some vertices. So based on these edges, I can Shift S, cursor selected. Now go to the front view, Shift A, add mesh plane, RX 90 degrees, and scale it down. Just scale it down until it fits. It looks good right now. Let's move it up, and let's go. Let's apply the scale, rotation, location. Go to edit mode, SX, and scale along the x-axis. Ctrl R to add the loop cut to that, and by pressing 1, select these. Select this vertex here. I have no idea if you can see it, but this vertex here, G, Z, and move it up almost right there. Select now everything. Press E, and then Y, and move it here. Now select this thing again, G, Y, and it right there, G, Y. Okay. Now what you can do is you can add a loop cut here in the middle, and you can select only the top stuff here, G, Z, move it down a bit, and that looks almost good. You can select all now, Control B to bevel that, and you can smooth out this thing. Okay. You can add a loop cut here just to make it all quads. And that looks good, even though we have an end gone here. But who cares? No one. So yeah, we can add a loop cut to make it quads. Yeah, let's add a loop cut. So now it's quads. You can select the whole loop cut, SZ0. Okay, easy. Move it into the middle, and that looks good. Now let's create these things that goes around here. Basically, select one of these and move the cursor right down. Shift A, just add a plane, scale it down, scale it down, almost like this size here. And let's go to the front view and let's rotate. Okay, now let's go to the edit mode, Alt A, extrude faces along normals, and that looks good. Now let's go and select these vertices and press G, Y, and move it along the Y axis. Yeah, that looks almost perfect. Now what you can do is, I have no idea how Ah, these are clipping through. Okay, okay, that looks good. In edit mode, I'm going to select these. A to select everything and press Shift D. Move this one here. You can rotate because it's clipping through. You can see that it's clipping through. And move like so, not too much. Just rotate a little bit. Shift D, rotate a little bit. Okay. Just press L to select this one. Rotate this one a little bit. Oh, what? How many duplicates I have here? Shift D. Ah, sheesh. Just rotate. Shift D. R to rotate. Instead of pressing R, I'm pressing E. That's why I have to rotate. Okay, sorry. Press L here. R to rotate. Little bit. Press L to select these things. D to move. That's annoying. Shift D. Shift D. Shift D. Okay, that looks good. Okay. Now I can add to it a mirror modifier. Let's press Ctrl I, apply all the transforms, and that looks interesting. Now let's go here. Let's select this thing, G, Z, and move it down until it's up of this thing. Save, because I forgot to save. Please save. We're doing good. We're doing good, actually. We have made this thing. Interesting. We can select this thing. Tap to go to edit mode. S to scale everything. S shift Y maybe. Yep. S shift Y, and that looks good. That looks good. Yeah. Just to fill in this area, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to select these. Shift S cursor selected. Shift A, add cube. I'm going to add a cube, and with the cube, I can fill this area. Now let's go to edit mode. Select these and move up. Select these and scale along the x-axis, and voila, I have filled that. No one will see it, guys. No one will see it. Promise. Maybe make it pointy. Oh, sorry. SY. Oh, sorry. SX. And let's move it up a little bit. GZ quite a bit. No one will see that. No one will notice that. No one will see. No one will notice, guys. That's perfect. Ctrl S to save. Now I need the other reference image, which is this one. Okay, I have no time to create this pattern, but we could do that here. We could do it. Okay, if we select a corner or a vertex, you can press Ctrl Shift and B, and then bevel and add so many loop cuts. For example, I have 39. Okay, and with the preset here, or the shape here, I can make it custom, and I can make something that resembles this thing. So for example, it is up, going down there, 0. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select these verts, pivot points, it's the medium point, and press E to extrude and press X. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to the front view. Now let's press K to enable the knife tool, and let's go A to go straight and click. Now we're doing something. I can select this face. How to select this face? Also select that face. Press I to inset. Something like this. Don't worry. Now select that thing. Select that face. I to inset. Let's make it like this. Who cares, man? Let's A to extrude. Now let's select these things and select these two faces here. A to extrude. DY too much, but something. And shade smooth by angle. Let's go to the front view, scale it down, and G and move it right here. Okay, something like so. I have no idea if I did it right, but let's select all of these vertices, G, X, and move it to go through here. RZ, okay, first Q, set origin to the 3D, Shift C, Q, set origin to the 3D cursor, and now I can rotate. Okay, rotate Z minus 45 degrees. Okay, let's add to it a mirror modifier. Flip that. Anyways, Shift D or Alt D almost. RZ 180 degrees. Okay, RZ 45, RZ 90. Okay, something that looks good actually. Let's press Shift A and add mesh plane. Scale it down. voila, to flip or to fill, sorry. Now Shift A, add cube, scale it, and GZ, SZ. That looks good. SZ now. Just to go through a little bit and select these for this face here. Go to the front view, GZ, and voila, I guess. Yep. And what I can do, I can select these edges and I can press Ctrl B to bevel that. Like this. Let's remove that. Let's do 0.5 segments 4, and that looks good. Okay, that looks good actually. I can rotate these RZ, okay, just to fill up this area. So that looks good actually. That looks really good. I'm really interested in that. Where's the original? Just the original. Let's select these faces. Also these. Alt E. Extrude faces along normals. Just to give some depth. Okay, that looks good. That looks good actually. Yeah. Even though it's not perfect, but you know, I did something. For the end here, okay. Good idea. X delete faces. Select these edges, E to extrude, right click, S and scale up, and E to extrude and extrude it along the Z axis. Why I'm not going to axis? Because I have Japanese. Okay, GZ, voila, that's it. Right click, shade smooth, or shade smooth by angle. That's good. Select everything, Shift and to recalculate the normals. Now let's check out the normals. Let's go to the overlays and let's go to the face orientation. Select everything, Shift and recalculate the normals. Select everything, Shift and recalculate the normals. Shift and recalculate, okay. Shift N, okay. Okay, anyways, that looks good to me. Now we have created one of the main stuff, because the other stuff is only cubes. Now let's make the torii gate. The torii gate will be something crazy, okay? Will be interesting to make. And now we are going to make the torii gate. I have a reference image right now. Based on that, we're going to make the torii gate, okay? And don't worry about the dimensions, because I have no idea about the dimensions. We are going to scale it to what we need. So right now we made our first object, so I'm going to move it to its own collection. But first, let me just change the language. Let's make sure everything's selected. Press M and create a new collection and name it lamp, for example. Okay, and I'm going to hide it for now. Select the collection. The first collection, I'm going to call it torii gate. Okay, something like this. And I'm going to drop my reference image. So let's go to this track, reference image, put it here. Okay, this is my reference image, but actually let me do something. Let's do import images and let's do reference, and I'm going to choose my reference image, and I'm going to reset my rotations to 0 and only rotate on the x-axis by 90 degrees, so when I'm going to be in the front view I can see it. And also what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the data tab, image data tab, and I'm going to click on the opacity and lower it down so I can see the grid, and I'm going to move that GZ and just align it with the X line here. Not perfectly, but something like this. And let's make sure this is in the center, and it's actually in the center, so I can run the mirror modifier. So right now basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the main poles, and then this thing is actually made of let me show you. Let's isolate one of these torii gates. It's made actually of a cube, and one thing that I did here is the geometry. It's a clean geometry, guys, to be honest. I have extruded this thing from these poles, so that's what we are going to do. And I might do low poly then high poly. Let's try that. So let's go back here. Actually, let's close this. I don't need it. Okay, actually I can do that and join areas. Okay, so press Shift A and add mesh. Let's do cylinder, and 32 is too much. I'm going to go with 18 or 16. Let's do 16 instead. 16 is good. Let's go to edit mode, tab to go to edit mode, or you can just switch it from here, edit object, you know. but I like the shortcuts. So just move it and scale it however you want. Don't worry about scaling right now. Just match it with the reference image. Okay. Now go to the vertex select mode and select the top vertices and press G and move it up here. And just scale it down until it matches the reference. And as you can see, that's perfect. Okay. And actually I'm going to add a mirror modifier, and cause we moved the cylinder in edit mode, we still have the origin in this place in here. I have no idea if you can see that, but let's see origin. We can see the origin, it's in here. Okay, you can see the XZ axis. We can actually play with the origin, so we can move the origin if we want to, but don't do that. Okay, so anyways, that's good. Now we need to create that thing. So what I'm going to do, jump into edit mode again, and let's press Ctrl R and add a loop cut and move it here. Actually, let's do that manually. So GZ, double G to slide, and press Ctrl R again and move it up, and just match it here. Make sure you are in the front orthographic view with numpad 1, and just slide it, something like this. Now let's go to the 3D viewport, and let's go to the right view, and now let's see the thickness. Is it gonna be like this? Let's try this. Okay, let's go now to the front view and press E to extrude, and press X and extrude it along the x-axis, and press SX0 to flatten it up. Press GX again, and that's it. That looks good. Okay, now let's do that in the other side. In the other side, I'm going to select that, but first we can apply that, but let's do something. Let's do E to extrude, X, and with the merge thing, we can merge it. So SX0 to flatten it, GX, and press X and delete faces. Okay, and let's select these edges, GX, and move it here. It's gonna merge. So let's maybe play with the merging here. Okay, something like this. That's been merged. Okay, that's good. Now let's go here. This one is a bit tricky because it has kind of like, you know, like angly thing. So let's do that first with the cube. And actually I want to do this this thing because it's amazing. I like this cylinder, how it looks like. So let's go here and let's do that. Okay, Shift Z, select the vertices in the top, double G to slide them, and actually I'm going to press X and delete faces because I don't need them. Press E, right click, go to front view, S to scale, E to extrude, and press Z maybe. Okay, that's weird. Okay, maybe I have used another reference, but anyways, that's good. That's good. Let's do that. Yeah, we can play with it later on. But anyways, I can rotate this thing. I can rotate by an angle. Easy, maybe something like this. Okay, and what I can do, I can add here. Okay, let's do something. Shift A, let's add the cube. GZ and move the cube up. Go to edit mode, scale the cube, and I'm going to first, let's add the origin. Yeah, the origin is already there. Okay, that looks good actually. Let's add a mirror. Okay, let's do that. Let's select these vertices, press G and move them here, and just move this vertex here. Select these vertices and move them right here. And now we can play with that thing. Ctrl R to add a loop cut. I'm going to press G to move this loop cut here. Press Ctrl B to bevel that loop cut with maybe two loops, and just shape it how you like. You can add a loop cut, another one here, and actually you can just play with it whatever you like. Maybe something like this. And actually I need to fill this thing by pressing F and I to inset, and just leave it as is. And what I'm going to do here is actually going to select that thing, select these faces, just the top faces actually, and press Shift D, P, separate by selection. Now let's select that, go to front view, and let's select these vertices, press E to extrude. Now select everything, E to extrude, E to extrude, yeah, E to extrude and extrude it up, like so. GZ, maybe at this point here, or maybe just leave it as in here. And let's start shaping this thing. G and move this thing here. G, move this thing here. G, move this thing here. You get the idea. Control R to add a loop cut. Now, deselect all of these loops for these vertices in that place. Now press GZ and shape it how you like. Something like this, you know. You don't need to be exact, you know. And here increase the merging distance until it been merged. And by the way, quick tip, you might need to delete these faces here. Okay, did that here? Nope. So let's do that. Okay, let's shade this thing smooth. This is already smooth. This one needs to be smooth enough. You can make it low poly so it's not intensive on your machine, you know. Maybe I'm going to add the details here in the bottom here. But first let's delete just this thing. Now let's go again into the front view. E to extrude, right click to cancel, S to scale, E to extrude again, and Z to extrude along the Z axis, for example. Now go to the edge selection mode, select this loop of edges, Control B to bevel that, and 2 segments is enough. Okay, and you can leave it unfilled here, it's up to you. And now we have made our torii gates. So let's select all of these, move them to a new collection, call it torii gate. Okay, that was so fast to make the torii gate. Now we need to texture this torii gate. Now let's move that to, okay, let's call it camera, light, action. Okay, so here I'm going to add the camera and the lighting and stuff. And this one I'm going to move it to the backup collection. Backup, remove it from the render and also all the things. Now for the texturing here, I have textured this torii gate with Substance Painter. Yes, I forgot about something. These little weird stuff, I'm going to add them. Let's add them. Why not? Let's add a Control R loop cut. Control R, add a loop cut. That should be it. Let's select these. Alt A, extrude manifold X, and move it along the X axis. And delete these faces. We have a face here. What? Wait, we have a face there. I'm going to see Control Z. Let me see. We deleted that. Okay. Alt A, extrude manifold, and press X. Delete faces. Okay, that worked. Now that worked. Okay. So basically, I'm going to add a loop cut. Okay, that really worked. Okay, let's go to the front view. Okay, Shift Z. But first, let's press Shift Z. Press 1 to make sure you have the vertex select mode. Click here and press C. Click here and press Enter. And to make sure we have cut all the way, so let's make sure the flow is working. The flow is working here for the edges. Okay, now let's select that, go to front view. Let's make sure that will work. Yeah, that worked. That really worked. Okay. Let's do that here also. Control R, add a loop cut. Control R, add a loop cut. The same technique actually. What I'm going to do, let me do something here. Let's select these. Let's press Shift D and SX-1. Oh, sorry. I have selected something weird. Okay, let's select these again. Shift D, SX-1. Okay, press Enter, GX and move it here. Actually, Shift N to recalculate the normals. And then press G, and then B. And let's select this vertice, snap it to this vertice. And now let's do the same technique where I'm going to place all of these verts into their place. G, B, select this vertice here. Snap it to this vertice. Let's make sure it's snapped correctly. So press M, or we can select everything, M, merge by distance, just to make sure that is merged. Let's go to the front view again, and let's press Shift Z, K, and let's click here, C, and let's click here, enter. Let's make sure I have, okay, M merge at last or at center, whatever. M merge at center. And what I need here, okay, basically what I need, let's do the same thing here from view. Okay, let's click here, C, click here, okay, let's do the same thing. Okay, select that, C, click here, it's good. Okay, actually what I'm going to do is select these faces inside, X delete faces, and what I'm going to do is select that, double G to slide, double G to slide, select all, M merge at center, select all, M merge at center. Now let's select that, double G, slide, select that, double G, slide, A, M, merge by distance. Let's make sure everything is being merged. Right click, shade smooth by angle. Ooh, my man, we did it. We did it. Okay, that's pretty good. We can add bevel here. We'll just leave it as is. Let's make it sharp. Let's make sure the stuff are working really well. We can actually get rid of this thing. Okay, we can get rid of this thing if we want to. If we really want. Okay, we can get rid of these. Control X and dissolve. Because we have connected these things. Okay, we have connected these, so they're connected. So we have quad, it's quad, and this is quad. Yeah, that without being anything said, we did a really good job. Let's do a bevel after all of these modifiers. Let's make sure the bevel amount, or yeah, bevel amount is small. Give it 2 to 3 segments just to make sure everything's working really well. We have no faces are flipped. That's cool. Let's add for that also a bevel. Let's do amount really small, 2 segments. Select that, shift select that, Control L, copy modifiers, and voila. Control S to save our progress. Let me see right now if everything looks good. Yeah, I forgot about something here. Okay, let's press Control R and add a loop cut. Okay, select this vertex, press J to join. Now let's select this loop, double G to slide, select these faces, sorry, not vertices, Alt A, extrude manifold, and move it up. And actually what I can do is I can select all these faces and press 2 to make it edges, and select the other edges in the other sides. And you can press G and then X and make it wide enough, however you like it. And basically, sorry, you have made your own torii gate. Yay! Ta-da! Let's make sure this thing is being merged correctly. Yeah, Control S to save. We have a beautiful torii gate. Actually, we might need to add the loop cuts right here, but who cares? No one cares. Oh yeah. Do you know what's wrong here is actually, is this thing not connected? It's not fully connected. Yeah. After I apply the mirror, it should be connecting really well. Yeah, that was our problem right there. So yeah, we fixed it. So let's see here. Actually, we need to add, yeah, as I said, we need to add the loop cut that goes right here. I'm not about the geometry right now. I'm not about it. We might add like a sign here. Yeah, we can add something like a stamp. Yeah. Anyways, we're done. Now let's texture the torii gate. So, or texture it right now, or keep continue. Let's keep continue making these things. I'm going to make the path. Yeah. The path is really interesting because it's only some shapes. I'm going to show you how. So let's hide the torii gate for now. Let's press M, or let's click C here. Add new collection. Call it path. Okay. Shift N, add cube. We're going to make the path out of cubes. Okay. So let's scale the cube. Apply all the transforms. Shift N, recalculate normals. S, Z, and get on Z axis. And now let's start making some weird stuff. Okay, you can press Shift D, duplicate that. What you can do, you can unselect these, G, X, and make it something like this. You can select these, G, Y, something like this. You can press L, Shift D, Y, G, X, something like this. L, Shift D, Y, sorry. L, Shift D, Y. Okay. You can unselect these. And now, Control A, apply all the transforms. Let's add for it a bevel modifier. And this bevel will make it looks good. Something like so. Play with the amount, so not too much. Hold Shift so you can move it precisely. And you can add an array modifier after that. Okay, and you can move it on the y-axis instead of the x-axis, and 0 for the x-axis. And voila, you have a pattern that can goes all the way up, something like so. Let's do some angling. Let's do, for example, let's go top view. Top view is the best when it comes to angles and stuff. Let's do that. Let's select one of these. L, Shift D, and let's unselect these. G, X, and unselect these. And you can do that here. You can press L, select that, Shift D, X, and move it. Unselect these, unselect these, and just move it so. Select that, just fill in these gaps. And don't make it really sharp, because the bevel modifier won't work with really sharp angles. Keep it in mind. This is what I call it irregularity, You get the idea, because I can't pronounce that thing. You can press L here, because I have missed something. B here. Okay, what's happening? L, D, get it down. G, get it down. Maybe I'm going just to delete it. Okay, that looks good. Okay, maybe I need to fill these. Okay, that feels a bit good. It's good. We haven't added any bumps, so let's try add some bumps, even though that might be not too realistic. Bumps here and there. Let's add bumps. That looks good. Okay, that looks good actually. Even though in the shading, it will be good. Okay, we're kind of good with the path itself, so let's make this sidewalk thing. Okay, the sidewalk is pretty easy to do, to create actually. So let's make sure our origin is in this place here, or the 3D cursor, sorry. Let's add a cube, and let's scale along the y-axis, and GZ, GY, okay. Select everything, Control B to bevel that. Okay, sorry, let's apply all the transforms. Now let's Control B that, add on level segments maybe. Control R to add loop cut, Control B to add maybe 3 loop cuts. You can add wherever things you might ask for. You can slide some verts just to make irregularities. You can add bumps here and there. Also, oh sorry. Okay, that looks good to me. And also, as you can see here, we have a pattern that is going on. So let's go to edit mode. Let's select these and move the 3D cursor right there. Now let's add a plane. Let's move this plane kind of a little bit. And actually, I'm going to select everything, not everything, just this one. L, Shift D, and then Y, and add this one here. And this one should have different stuff in it. Okay, so it's not similar. And this plane, I'm going to select these vertices and move them. And here we are going to create our details. I to inset. Okay, Control R to loop cut, Control R to loop cut, Control R to loop cut. Loop cuts however you want, Select these, select this one, select these. You can press I to inset. You can select individuals, inset them. Okay, now select everything in here and press Alt E, extrude manifold. Do that here also. Alt E, extrude manifold. Or you can select the Shift R, but right now the action is being removed. That will be good. Alt E, extrude manifold. So we have kind of a pattern that goes around here. We can select the whole plane, and then G, X, and move it inside a little bit. And now we can add for it an array, and it goes on the y-axis, and 0 for the x-axis. And this is the moment of truth. Let's select the whole thing and unselect all of these. And for the moment here, I'm going to increase this value. Again, select everything, Shift Z, deselect everything here, and G, Y, and increase the merge, smurge that. Okay, that looks better. Let's increase this count value. Let's add actually a mirror, and I want the origin. So let's do Q. Set the origin to the 3D cursor. Where is the 3D cursor? Okay. Why it's not being there? Oh, sorry. Mirror, not array. Mirror. Okay. The mirror should be. Let's add this thing. Center of mass. Okay, let's do that. 3D cursor. Okay, that worked. Okay. And actually, this sidewalk thing could be big. Help to select everything, and that's X. Okay, that's good. It's really good actually. Let's select all of the faces that goes up. GZ, and move them down a little bit, so not too much of it going on. Control S to save. Okay, we have made our path. Now we're going to deal with, okay, what? We're going to deal with this thing here, okay? So to make it, it is going to be pretty easy. Let's add the 3D cursor right there. Shift A, add the cube. Scale that cube down. Move it to the Z axis a little bit. And now we need to read it a little bit. Let's go to the right view. G, Z. Maybe distort. Control R and add a loop cut. We can Control B this loop cut. And let's add something like this. Okay. We can select this whole tree stuff. 3 loops. Control B with only one segment. Let's select these 3 faces. Double I to insert individually. We can press E to extrude and extrude it. Okay. If we really want to. Control R to loop cut. Let's add another loop cut here. Another loop cut here. Let's select all of these loops. Control B to bevel. Now what I'm going to do is to bridge these. So let's select these 2. Loop tools, bridge. Let's do the same technique here. Loop tools, bridge. That looks interesting. Now let's do the same thing here. Let's add 6. Let's add 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay, that looks good. Let's do the thing. Let's select these. Q, bridge. Let's select this one. Shift and select this one. Shift R, this one. Shift select this one. Shift R. Let's do the same thing here. Let's do the same thing here. Okay, let's do the same thing. And in the top of these, let's just move it up a little bit. In the top of all of these, I'm going to enable the lamp. Okay. And from the lamp, okay, let's turn off this thing. From the lamp, I'm going to select all of these, not this one. Shift D, and I'm going to move it to a new collection. Let's call it assembly. Okay, inside the lamp collection. So all of these, I'm going to apply all the modifiers. Actually, I don't need. Actually, we can apply all these modifiers here. Do we have any modifiers here? We have. So let's select everything. Control J to join. So they are one mesh. Okay. Let's enable the path. Where is the path thing? Okay. Let's move here. Let's scale this thing down. Move the 3D cursor down. Let's move this thing down. Scale it down. Scale it up a little bit. RZ 90 degrees. And select them both. Control J to join. So this is like this. Okay. Ooh, we have a problem. We have a really serious problem here, which is, let me select these. X, delete vertices. Now let's select the length stuff here. select the whole thing. G, and then Y. Okay, just select these again. E to extrude. Oh wait, do I need to fill all of these? Let's fill that. Let's do something here. G, Y. Let's select this face. Alt A, extrude manifold. Oh my god. Alt A, extrude manifold, and move it down here. Alt A, extrude manifold, right there. Okay, let's press Shift D and move it to this side here. Okay, that looks good actually. Merge by distance. I have merged thousands of these. Control X to dissolve. Let's select these. Control X. Okay, that looks good. Need to make it as clean as possible. This is just an intersect. And voila. That looks interesting. Again, I need to make this thing. Oh my god, let's select these. Days. Oh my days, oh my days, oh my days. Now I can enable my torii gate. Where is the torii gate? This is the torii gate. Let's enable that. Where is it? Yep, this is our torii gate. Let's select the collection. Select objects. Let's go now to the front view. Scale down our torii gate. Let's make sure it covers this area. GY and move our torii gate. That looks good to me. Okay, that's the first thing done. Now let's get the lamp. Right click, select objects. Now let's scale it down. Yes, scale it down. G and move it. Scale it up a little bit. That's good, actually. And what we need to do is to apply all of these things, because it's everything M merged by distance. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this path like a curve, like curvy. So we are going to fake that the path is going all the way, but it's not going all the way. It's just turning, and by the turn, your mind will think it's still going on. If it's straight, when I'm going to look straight from the camera, for example, as you can see, the path is ending right there, even though it's moving. So, by the way, you need to add a camera. So Shift N, add a camera, and pick a view, you know, something like this. Control Alt 0, and the camera will snap to the view. Okay, and you need first to select the camera, M, move it to the collection where the camera stuff happening, and you need to open this arrow, select the camera itself so you can see from the camera. You can lock the camera to the view, and you can pick the view that you want, you know. You have the freedom. I'm going just to zoom in a little bit. Okay, and you can always do whatever you want. You can hold control, and with your middle mouse button you can zoom in slowly, something like so. That looks interesting. You can change the focal length of the camera, and you can zoom in like so, and you will have another view. So I have two cameras, this one and this one. So yeah, which one that I like, I can do. And also enable depth of field. So let's go to this camera, enable depth of field, and I'm going to select the torii gate, and I'm going to change the f-stop to 0.8, for example. So it's, oh, sorry, we just disable that thing. As you can see, we have some depth of field going on right there. That's cool. Okay, to make the path is curvy, so let's go Shift A, add curve, and I'm going to add path. Okay, where is that path? It's turned around, so let's go to top view, go to edit mode, RZ 90 degrees. Okay, RZ 90, and I'm going to move the path a little bit to the Y here. Let's select one of these ends, E to extrude, and E to extrude, E to extrude, E to extrude, something like this. And I'm going to select the path itself, and I'm going to add a curve modifier, and I want it to, what, I don't need that, I need curve modifier, and select the curve that we have created, and you might switch that to some axes. Okay, but first let's apply all the transforms for that. Something is happening, really. Let's do minus x. No, it's not minus y. Okay, minus y, but okay, minus y. It should be the minus y. Sometimes these things happening. Okay, minus y, that worked. And just move the path however you like. Something like this. Do the same thing. I'm going to add curve. Select our beautiful curve. Also minus y, ng, and move it on the y-axis like so, gy, and just move it something like this. And it is oh my god, this what? Okay, something weird happening actually. My days, what? RZ 90 degrees. There is actually something happening that I don't know what's happening. This control Z, all of that. Okay, our pad doing some weird stuff. Okay, this C location, rotation, etc. all are free. Let's apply all the transforms. Let's apply that mirror. Let's see now. Let's see now. Okay, let's take the curve. I'm going to rotate it by minus 90 degrees and see. Yep, that worked. Let's add curve. Select our beautiful RZ minus 90. Okay, minus 90. Okay, RZ minus 90. That worked. I have no idea why and how, but it worked. Right now, I'm going to select that that thing that we have merged, or the light. Okay. Make sure that you don't have any duplicated vertices by selecting A to select everything, M, and merge by distance. And yeah, voila, we have some weird stuff that was being merged. Actually, I'm going to select that GZ. Okay, Control plus to expand GZ. Now let's select that GZ just to give it some thickness going on. Okay, and I'm going to add array on the y-axis, 0 for the x-axis. Now for the y-axis, I'm going to, let's do this value 7, for example, and let's increase. Okay, not 7, more than 7 actually. Maybe 7.5, something like this. And you can increase that thing. You can apply a mirror for that. And after all, you can add a curve and select our beautiful curve, RZ minus 90 degrees. Okay, and just move them a little bit like this. And that will follow that path that I gave it. So right now, if I look through the camera, you can see where I'm going on. So the path is still going. I can just make this clip through like this. Oh my god. Now your mind will think that this path is still going. But it's not going actually. It's just the end. Okay. Control S to save your progress. And now we are going to go to the texturing process. For the texturing, I'm going to use just two textures, okay? So let's do that. I'm going to select the tour gate, a part of the tour gate, and I'm going to go to the shader editor. I have my shader editor is enabled, and I'm going to switch that to object because I was in the world. And I'm going to click new to add new material. I'm going to name it torii gate. Don't worry about the naming. And if you don't see these nodes, if they are hiding, you can press the percentage button on your keyboard to give you this spy menu and use frame all. Ta-da! You're done. Okay. And right now I'm going to switch to the material preview. I'm not going to use what? Maybe I don't want to use this principal PSTF. Let's use diffuse. Okay, let's use a diffuse PSTF. We have the normal, we have the color, we have the roughness. What we need else? Let's add the noise texture and let's add the color ramp. Plug the factor to the factor and the color into the color. Select the noise texture, Ctrl T to add mapping and texture coordinates and use the object coordinates. And right now what I'm going to do, let's select all these elements, shift select the one that has material, Ctrl L and link materials. So all of them will have the same material. Let's zoom in a little bit, press N to close this window, and I'm going to scale that down on the Z axis a little bit like this. And I'm going to change the colors a little bit. So we need darker tones. And what I need is a bump node, bump, to add some displacement, to fake the displacement actually. I'm going to use it as a height, and that's being faked. Voila. Just for the light to interact with this shape, okay? Maybe I'm going to make another color ramp like this, as you can see. And I can play with the white and black values, so you have more things to play with. Actually, I like that. You can add some details if you want, make it detailed a little bit. And you have the roughness slider if you want some roughness. So by default, it's really good. Now I'm going to select this shape, add to it the same material. Sorry, let's add the material here. This one, I'm going to create new material for this things to have the light coming out of them. So yeah, I want it to be like a glass. So I'm going to add to it a new material. Let's call it glass, for example. Back in the day, back in the days when was samurai stuff, it was paper. So let's name it paper glass. Let's do that. Go to edit mode for this thing. Press dot on your keyboard so you can zoom in a little bit. Dot again, and let's make sure go to the top and press 3 for your face selection mode. Select these faces, hold shift so you can select more than one. Not you. Select all of these. While you are still in edit mode, select your material and assign it. That's good. I'm going to use the principal PSDF with the translucent PSDF, mix those together, and later on I'm going to modify this. Okay, you can add to it a color if you want, the translucency. That's good. Now for the path, I'm going to add to it a new material. Let's call it path. Okay, path. And the idea here is to add a noise texture. We're going to use a lot of noise textures. Control T to add texture coordinates and mapping. And let's add a color ramp. Move these, color ramp, connect it. And I'm going to connect that to the roughness. Control Shift D to duplicate and connect it to the color. Now for the coloring, I'm going to select this one, make it also dark a little bit. As you can see, we have some coloring. Now select that one and play with the roughness slider. Maybe not all the way down to black. Increase the details just a little bit so it's like a wet surface. Now select this this sidewalk, shift select the path, Control L, and link materials. These now will have the same material. That's good. That's all we want. Control S to save. And I'm going to add some lights inside of these. So let's go first to the render viewport. Oh my god, we can see lights. So let's switch that to world and see what's happening. What's happening here is we have some world strength. So let's disable that. We don't need any world strength. I have some lights by default. Now let's select this lamp and Shift S, cursor selected. Where is the cursor? Oh my god, the cursor is still there. Let's add lamp manually. So let's add let's add the light manually. Let's select the 3D cursor right there. Shift A and add light, point light, GZ. Let's make sure this is in the center a little bit. GY, GX. Let's go to the front view. GY. That's kind of in the center. Now let's go to the render viewport. Actually, I'm going to turn up the compositor. I'm going to turn up the bloom so we don't have so much bloom here. Let's select the light properties. I'm going to change it to a yellow. And now the trick now is to see what's wrong with this. Let's go to the object. Actually, let's switch that to here. I don't need that much of bump. Let's select the paper glass thing, and I'm going to decrease the mix shader amount. We can play with the roughness if we want to. That will make some differences. Okay, let's select the point light. Let's go to the light properties. We can enable contact shadows, so the light won't interact like won't go outside of the lamp, and that's what we want actually. Now let's enable bloom again, and we have a nice little bloom. But what I'm going to do, how I can instance the light to go through all of these. The trick here is to shift S, cursor selected, so I'm going to add an object there. I'm going to add shift A mesh single vert. So you can enable that in the edit preferences, extra, add mesh, extra objects. Enable that in the add-ons tab. That will allow you to add single verts. If you don't have that, you can add a plane and merge all of the vertices in the center. Okay, so let's add a single vert. Now in the single vert data properties, go to the instancing and enable vertices. Okay, that's good. And add to it an array modifier. And make sure you have constant offset enabled. And let's remove the distance 0 for the X, and Y let's do 7.5 as we did right there. And right now what I'm going to do is select the vert, shift select the point light, Control P, and parent by object. Okay, and let's see if that works. If that works, we can see light. If that didn't work, yeah, that worked. 7.5 was too much, I guess. Let's move it inside, something like this. Increase the count. Let's increase the array. Okay, and I'm going to add to it a curve modifier, and let's select our NURB and RZ minus 90, and just play with that. Just play with that until you see that will work. Increase the distance if you see that not working. Okay, add to it for the single vert, you can add to it array, sorry, a mirror modifier. Just add it before the curve. Let's do select. I have no idea. Let's select that. Okay. Let's add the origin of this single vert to the 3D cursor and see if that works now. That won't work. That won't work. So let's Alt D. Oh, sorry. Let's select all of these. Okay. Alt D and move them on the y-axis because I flipped these things. That was weird a little bit. Okay. That's working. That's definitely working. We have definitely some lights going on. We have some weird shadows. Maybe distance here. Okay, the distance was our issue. Let's select the other verts. Let's play with their distance a little bit, so they're inside a little bit. Yeah, that was it. Okay, that was it. Let's see from our camera view. That's good. That's literally good. Yeah, that's literally good. Control S and save our progress. Oh, the width thing looks good. Okay, now we have some options for the trees. Are we going to use one of these trees? Okay, just let them to render out. So they have some advantages and some drawbacks. The advantages are they are looking cool. The drawbacks, they have millions and millions of vertices. So let's enable the statistics so we can see. It is almost 1 million edges. It's a 500,000 vertices. Let's select one tree and see. It's 221 vertices. 221,000 vertices. So what we are going to do, are we going to use these ones, or I'm going to use the one that I have created in my last video? So please tell me. I will leave the choice for you so you can use one of them. Okay, this one has also some advantages and drawbacks. Advantages, it looks a lot more anime, but it has alphas, and alphas, as we know, they're intensive on your CPU. My only problem is my CPU, guys. If I had better CPU, then this will be really cool. I guess I'm doing alpha clip here. Yeah, alpha clip. The alpha blend looks crazy, but the alpha blend looks, yeah, kind of. As you can see, the alpha clip looks amazing with these shadings. Oh my god, that looks interesting. Let's make it off a clip. Okay, make it off a clip so it's not really intensive. I'm going to select my whole tree, Control C. I'm going to use these ones because they're not really intensive. And I'm going to press Control V here, and I'm going to press M, move to a new collection, and let's call it trees. Okay, and these trees looks crazy because they're so big. It comes with its own. I'm going to select this emitter. I'm going to hide it from the render and also the viewport. Let's remove that camera. Let's delete that thing. Let's select the tree. Select all of these leaves. Also the tree at last. DZ. And yeah, make it believable a little bit. And just scatter this tree around here, around the path. You can RZ, rotate it. Alt D, rotate, scale a little bit. Alt D, rotate, scale. Easy, you know. Okay, you can Alt D, Y, X maybe. Alt D, Y, GZ, RZ. You can rotate them however you want. Alt D, Y, scale, GZ. And do that until you fill up the whole area. Okay, let's see now. That looks interesting. Okay, we have some trees. We have definitely some trees. But right now, what we are missing is the the sky or the moon. So first, let's disable these trees because they are intensive, as you can see. Disable them. Ctrl S to save. Now let's go to the world tab. What I'm going to create right now is I'm going to create this node group that will show you the moon. Okay, of course I need to increase the thing. As you can see, this is the moon that we are going to create right now. So basically, to start off with, I'm going to add a Voronoi texture just to create this little stars. Add the color ramp to it. I might disable all of these things just in case, you know. And I'm going to plug that into the background color. By the way, you can see this node group, what I have created. You can use the same nodes that I have made here. Want to make them, although that this project file is available on my Patreon, so you can just go and download it. Okay, or you can watch the tutorial when I did the starter file. Okay, now we can see that thing. Let's see it. We need to flip the color ramp colors, make them small a little bit. Okay, increase the scale of the Voronoi texture, really, and you can change their color. Maybe this color. Ctrl C to copy the color. And I'm going to use a gradient texture, and I'm going to add texture coordinate and mapping nodes, and I'm going to switch it to spherical or quadratic sphere. That will allow me to create the crossed moon. You can play with the X location, as you can see, this location what does, and you can play with the Y location and the Z location also. It's hard to get right, but when you get it, add a matte node, okay, and set it to power, and that will make it looks like this. After that, what you're going to do, let's move these up a little bit. What you're going to do, you're going to duplicate the thing, and I'm going to mix them together, and I'm going to move it to multiply. Make sure the multiply is to 1, and you can just play with these locations here. Okay, I might add a color ramp also here and flip one of these color ramps. Maybe not this one, maybe this one. Yep, this one. Okay, you can actually add the matte node and subtract and do stuff, you know, but I like color ramp. It is more powerful, and you can play with the locations here and there, and you can get a moon like this. That's pretty easy. Just copy these location rotations, and I'm going to use the same colors here. Okay, and finally what I'm going to do, let's move these. I'm going to add these together using add function or screen, one of them, but I like add. and add them. You can add screen. Screen will get rid of some saturation, I guess, but that worked. Now I want to get rid of these stars in the bottom, so I'm going to use an gradient texture also, but this time sets to linear. Add the texture coordinates and mappings, and I'm going to mix them together, and I'm going to use it as a multiply. Okay, and factor sets to 1, and I'm going to rotate on the y-axis by 90 degrees, and voila, that did all the job for me. Right now, what we are going to do is to connect that to the background image and also to the world tab, and we can play with the strength of these two. But first, let's remove this viewer node because we don't need it. As you can see, we have a moon with stars and things in it. And actually, I need to save. Okay, we need to save. Now enable all the collection that we need. Okay, trees also. I might need to move the moon a little bit up because it's a bit down. That's really interesting because you'll never get the same result after you play with these boys. We're getting somewhere. Okay, that's almost what I want. Okay, something like this. That's obviously a crossed moon. Okay, something like this. It's so big. Okay, let's enable all these collections. And let's see right now. Yep, that's good right now. That's really good. I'm going to play with the trees, with the foliage here a little bit, because their material is having some weird problems. Of course, one of them is its translucency, and also one of them is the color when there is no light touching them, which is this color. I'm going to make it really dark. I might change that to linear or ease for better blending. This one also I'm going to change it to a darker value. This color also, some dark tones in it. Let's select that tree trunk and remove from it the Fresnel. I'm going to get rid of the Fresnel here, so we have only that coloring. Okay, that's really good. Let's go to the object for the solid mode, and I'm going to add volumetric cube. So let's add a cube, scale it up, give it a new material, get rid of the principal PSDF, remove, and let's go to the volume, add volume scatter. Okay, now let's go to the material settings here, and let's change that to 0.01. And while selecting that cube, go to the cube data properties, go to the viewport display, make sure it is set to bounds so we can see things. Okay, and I'm going to add some light, so let's select the collection where the light is, and I'm going to add light, spotlight, GZ, and move it up, scale it down, and R, X rotates on the X-axis, GY, GX, RZ, GY, GZ, and GY maybe. And I want it to look to the ground a little bit, something like so. Now let's go to the render viewport. Let's select that cube here. Let's add some volume. Not too much, not too much. That's too much. That's too much. Let's add 0.05 or 0.03. Okay. Change the color to kind of cyan color. And I'm going to get rid of this annoying light here. I might select all of these. Oh, we have some point light, lonely point light. Spotlight, that's spotlight. Let's select all of these. Let's go to the solid viewport. Shift D, M, move it to the backup collection. Now let's select that, apply all the modifiers. Let's go to that also. Apply all the modifiers. Where is that lonely light? That was in here. This is it, and delete it. Now let's go to the render viewport. What? Okay, turn it off on the render also. Okay, that's good. Now the problem here is the volume here is really annoying. Let's go to the render viewport, or the rendering properties, sorry. Volumetrics, it's 2 pixels. It's good. It's good amount. If it was 16, you'll see it's pretty low. Yeah, I can see that. What's going on here? Let's select the spotlight, and I'm going to increase its strength by 1000. Oh, that added some interesting light to the scene. Let's select the trees, and let's add the translucency a little bit. Ooh, that looks interesting. That looks interesting, isn't it? That looks interesting. Let's go to the compositor. Of course, you need to download all of these or take a screenshot, because I have no idea how to explain that, because I explained it in another video. But take a screenshot. We have the glare node to add some ghosts, and we have some fog glow. We have the lighten to add some coloring. You can make it saturated if you want to. And we have the color balance node to color balance our image. And we have the HSV node to add some saturation or remove some saturation. We can add some saturation a little bit. Ooh, the volumetrics are crazy. Save, let's save. Oh, forgot to save. Oh, my man. You forgot to save. And we have the quality nodes. These nodes are crazy, are crucial in my work. I really need them. And we have the vignette nodes, just to add some vignetting, you know. And we have the dispersion and distortion with the lens distortion node. And we have the noise to add some noise, some film grain, film noise, you know, some interesting stuff. And finally, the composite, which is the final render. And let's go here to the volumetrics, increase the volumetrics to 2 pixels. Let's do 100 samples, 100 for the volumetrics. Do we have something else? We don't have. Let's render out the result and see. If you have a powerful machine, you can do animation, but I can't. I don't have powerful machine. Let's hope, let's hope. Let's hope that will render quickly. Okay, these other lights are turned off. Okay. There's a problem. There's a really big problem, because I don't have any ideas. Do Alt P clear parent. Now I figured out how this thing worked. Voila. Now these things should be really in the place. Now let's see the render. Ooh, that looks good now. That looks really good. Let's render out and see right now, because I have fixed the lighting, the light problems. I have fixed that. And also by only just playing with the camera, you can get cool results. Oh my god. And also, I'm going to do something that no one, please guys, don't do, because it's unrealistic. The whole scene is unrealistic, but I'm going to do that. Okay, let's add the light behind that so I can add a rim light. Let's add area lights. RX minus 90. RX minus 90. Okay, let's scale that up. Down, sorry. No. Let's see right now. Just to add a rim light, you know. Let's see in the camera view. Let's Alt D, Z, just, and adjust the light power a little bit so it's not too much, and also play with the coloring just to match the rest. And now let's render that out. Let's go to the render result, do another slot. So comparing the first slot is, yeah, good. It's okay. We have a problem here. It's not a problem, it's actually due to the light that we have before, because we have a light. Okay, the width thing looks crazy. With the lens distortion dispersion, it looks more realistic than it looks stylized. Yeah, that looks interesting. Also the light here, the light strength is too much. But anyways, let's go to the slot number 3 and render out. Let's hope that will work. Okay, kind of. It worked, but it's not the result that I want. Okay, it looks like there is a ton of mist. What I can do is, I have no idea. The lighting here is crazy. It's really crazy. The moon looks crazy also. Man, I'm going to play with the vignette. I need more vignette, of course. Let's see. Yeah, the vignette in edges looks good. Let's do one more thing. One more thing in the volume. Oh, forgot what is the volume. This is the volume cube, I guess. I'm going to go to the shader and display with Instropic a little bit. Let's see that in action. Let's see that in actually 0.5. It's good. I'm going to go to these lights. Oh, oh. Let's make them dimmer a little bit, not too strong. Just dim a little bit. This one I'm going to make also dim, not fully, but quite a bit. Just almost to add a bit of highlighting there. In the compositor, I'm going to decrease the threshold here for the bloom, so the bloom will work as I want it to. That looks good to me. Ctrl S to save. Go to another slot, the fourth slot, and see. These are the final results. You can play with the scene, you know, however you like. The trees will add more depth if you use another trees. You know, you get the idea. But just to make the scene here, we have used many techniques. We adjusted many stuff, you know. So that will give some cool results. Oh, that also cool. It also look cool. Ah, we have a problem. We have a problem. These lights are in the center. These lights are in the center. Let's select the lights, move them backward. Okay, let's do that again, but with these like a 5 watts. Okay, let's render now. Let's render. Okay, that looks much interesting. Let's select these area lights. Let's make them soft a little bit. To make them soft, okay. That's a cool question. Let's make their shape disk. Okay, see what am I doing? Let's render out this thing again. I'm probably doing something wrong here in the compositor. We will see. We will see right now when this render out. We could do an animation also if you wanted to. Nah, I guess nah. I'm going to remove these. They added some weird stuff. I might just play with the position of this one. Rotate in the X, GZ, GY, RX a little bit. Just, you know, maybe this one will add that atmosphere. Just align it with the moon. Make it a bit yellow. Make it strong. 2000, let's do 2000. 2, 1, 2, 3, 2000. Okay, just make it 1000. 1000. Let's save our progress. Definitely we need to save. We didn't. Okay, let's just see. Okay, this is the final render for today's video. I hope you like it because it took so while. It turned out into like a long video, a long episode, not just a video. Without the compositing, it also looks good. After it added these compositing effects, it helps out. You can see these lights are turning, going around, just almost add to the depth. Now we can see the trees are interacting really well with that moon. Okay, the light we have faked is almost really good. Oh my god, I forgot to add another torii gate in the background. Okay, let's add another torii gate here. Let's rotate it a little bit. Let's another torii gate. Another one here. Rotate it a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Let's render out this image again. Okay, and I was telling myself, what is going on? What's going on? What's wrong with the render? I forgot to add more torii gates. Oh, now it's good. Now with more torii gates, it looks good. Yeah, definitely. We can see that definitely. Without the torii gates, with more torii gates. Yeah, that's definitely good. That's definitely good. Let's save this render. Let's save as. Let's add it to render. Let's save. And also, in the depth of field, you can remove that. Okay. And you can play with the distance manually, so you are focused on one object, for example, this object, and we have the others out of focus, you know. Let's do that. Let's do slot number 5. As you can see, that looks good also. That looks really good. Yeah. So we're focused on one object and the others are out of focus. That's also really cool. Let's add to the render. And that's it for today's video. Hope you like it. See you soon with another one.